a masterclass on capacity development. Thank you for making the time to be here. Please don't forget to answer the pretest questions that will be dropped in the chat box as soon as the session starts. I would like to welcome our facilitator for today's class, Mr. Nzas. You're welcome. Nzas Emmanuel is a monitoring and evaluation practitioner with extensive experience supporting community-based HIV, TB, and public health programs under Global Fund and PPFAR aligned frameworks. He specializes in designing and implementing data systems that deliver measurable results across health program accountability and strategic information management. Leveraging analytical tools and community-led monitoring approaches, Nzas translates complex health data into actionable insights that strengthen program delivery and support organizations in achieving meaningful health outcomes across diverse Nigerian communities. With a proven track record, his systems have achieved 100% reporting rate, improved timeliness by 25%, and reduced late submissions by 40%. Mr. Nzas, you're highly welcome. You can take over.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning once again to all participants and the organizers of this impactful program. I'm really excited to be here today. So we will begin. Please, can you permit me to share my screen? I joined with the two device. So if you can see the one with share screen.
Yes, Sakari, please allow him to share his screen.
Yeah, the device that I renamed with share screen.
Yes, you can share your screen, sir. You have been you are part of the course, so you can share your screen, sir.
Oh, sorry. I think you didn't get me well. I joined with two devices. Okay, so you enable the one I'm talking right now with. Can you hear me, please?
Hello, sir. I didn't get that, sir.
Okay, I said if you check, I joined with two devices. So there's one I renamed with share screen. So if you can allow that one instead.
Okay. Please let me check, sir. Okay. All right, sir. Yeah, we'll go, sir. Hello, sir. You cannot share your screen, sir.
Hello, everyone. Can you confirm you can hear my screen? You can see my screen, please.
Yes, sir.
All right. So to the participant guys, I've been opportune to follow some of you or to be part of the previous sessions. And so we're going to take a slightly different approach to this today. So very importantly, I would want you to know that this session is going to be more activity based and is going to be engaging. I want you to be prepared. If you have your pen and paper there, it will really help in as much as we'll be using the chat box as well. Why I'm saying this because I really would want to take you on a journey, right? If you can hear me, I would want to take you on a journey and guide you through. I'm not going to be lecturing, doing a lot of talking. That is not the essence. So at the end of the day, I would want you to be able to say, oh, I've been able to come, learn this, learn this, learn this. And this is something very practical that I'm living with today. Does that make sense to you guys? Can I see a like button if you're with me? Can you just click the like button? Let me see if you're with me. Hello guys, can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, fine. All right, so let me give you a brief of an introduction. So today we are not just talking about choosing a career. We are talking about preparing yourself for a career. And today I want to walk you through how I discovered what kind of career fits me and how I took time to understand myself, my strengths, and the kind of work I do presently. So just a bit of a background about myself. So you could see I have a background. I did my first degree in arts education and with the focus on religious studies. So when I went further to do my master's, I did in African traditional religion. But it could be surprising to you, right? What I'm doing within the public health sector. It is because I've been able to take my time to understand how the space of work works. Now, these are some of the kind of challenges or the switch in career that a lot of people experience, but sometimes really do not know how to go about them. So, if someone had ever told me that I was going to eventually work within the monitoring and evaluation within the public health sector, I would have probably laughed. But something important happened along the way. What was that thing? I started paying attention to skills, not just titles. So, for example, I had one of my career goals or to be a lecturer, to teach, to research, do publications within the higher institutions and all that. But that skills that I was learning at that time was what guided and supported even what I do within the M&E department here in public health. Now, research, it could be I was doing research, and then I had some publications and all that. I was so much interested in doing research and analysis, but that knowledge did not waste away. I took that knowledge down to MIE in the public. How do that? I paid attention to skills. Remember, I told you earlier. Now, so the purpose of today's session is to not force you into a particular career, but is to support you and show you how career can be developed and how we can build capacity. So if you're going to follow me on this journey, I'm ready to take you on. How many of you recognize this page? How many of you recognize this page? Can I see in the chat box? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. I shared the link. Okay, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Exactly. Now, the essence of this test, guys, is not to tell you what to do. The essence of this career test is not to choose a career for you. The essence of this test was to give you an insight and to give you a clarity on what you can be able to do. Are we together, guys? Now, I would want to ask a very simple question for many of us that are saying, yes, I do. Did the result in the career test confirm your expectations? Maybe you can write that on the chat box. Yes, it did, or no, it didn't. Did the result? Yes, it did. Okay, not really. Perfect. Perfect. No. Yes, it did. Thank you very much. Yeah, so this is exactly what I really expected, right? Now, in a way, it is just for you to what? To get clarity and not exactly choose what you can do. So in this particular page, you see, I mean, for those some people who could not take the test, I would encourage you to do that. Just play with it. It is free. And then in a way, it can guide whatsoever decisions you may want to take when it comes to your career. Because a lot of people, we cannot assume that a lot of people really know what they want to do. Some people have just opportunity come to their way, and some people push their way to get those particular job or career path that they chose to go. All right. So in this particular session, I have outlined some objectives that I would really want us to follow, guys. So at the end of the day, please put this in mind. In all our conversations today, put this in mind. First, I want us to gain clarity, to clarify at least our top 3 career goals. So for some of us who are in our final year, we're studying accounting. Some of us may end up working in the NGO sector and maybe not even accounting department. Some of us may end up working in the health sector and all that. But in whatever it is, let it not be like we are confused, guys. So let's have our 3 top career goals that no matter what, this is what we really would want to do in the order of priority. Secondly, I would want us to have this in our minds that we want to understand what employers expect. What are employers looking for? The third one is to assess our current skills and the required skills, or versus the required skills that is needed for any particular career option that we have chosen or career path that we have chosen to follow. The last one is to create a plan to close those gaps. Now, these very 4 simple objectives are what is going to guide our sessions today. So please, at the end of the day, if you have not picked anything out, or these 4 clear objectives should be what you'll be focusing on, right? Okay. So goal setting. Define your career aspiration. Now, let's talk about where you are going in your career. Before you choose any job, you need to ask yourself some honest questions, right, guys? And the question you're going to be asking yourself, if you cannot be honest to yourself, then you are probably going to meet a lot of challenges. Now, like I said earlier, I'll be engaging us in these conversations and have us interact. There's something that the previous facilitator said. He said, I think at the end of the session, he said something that if people who knew what they knew at that time kept those knowledge away from him, he wouldn't have been where he is. Do you guys remember? Now, this is a continuation of what he said. Now, I learned, and then I'm here to support you and guide you in this career development and particularly capacity development. Now, you need to ask yourself, where do I see myself in a few years? This is a very, very simple question, but in a way, it looks a bit complicated. For someone who is graduating, for someone who wants to switch career, how can you just start imagining and envisioning yourself in the next few years, let's say in the next 5 years, in the career that you want to pick or in a career that you want to switch? What kind of work do I enjoy doing? This is a very important question. Now, I can tell you for a fact that a lot of people find themselves in a place where they work, they get money, but they can tell you that I am so burnout. I am so tired and I want to leave. This is a place where there is a lot of money, people want to go in, but people that are there wants to come out. So there are different reasons, but you really need to be honest with yourself. What kind of work do I enjoy doing? What kind of problems do I want to solve? Um, we have serious challenges when it comes to people, people's skills when it comes to problem solving. A lot of employers are not ready to just hire people just because they want people to fill in those roles. They want to hire people who will help them solve problems. And so I identify three possible career paths that I'm interested in. But now the question is, what do I already know? What do I still need to learn? Guys, just be patient with me. I am taking you somewhere. Are we together? Can I see yes? Can I see yes in the chat box? Are we together, guys?
Yes,
Okay, beautiful. Now, what do I already know and what do I still need to learn is what we call a gap. It simply means the distance between where you are and where you want to be or where you want to go. Now, if I'm in point A and I want to be in point B, and I've made a little journey, but I have not arrived in point B, what is making me not arrive in point B is a gap. And this is the journey that I'm trying to take us into. Now, if you have a pen and a paper there and all that, can you write down the three career ambitions that you have chosen for yourself? Oh, I would want to do this, and I also have interest in this. I would want to do this and all that. Can you just do that? I know why I'm doing this, so guys, just let's pay attention and do this with me. So I came up with some example here. I said, for example, I wanted to be a data analyst. I wanted to go into graphic design, and then I wanted to explore the area of human resource management for people and culture. So, hello, are we together, guys? All right. Now, the purpose of which you have written down those three career goals really matters a lot. And this is why we are asking, why did you choose this particular career? Among all the three, which one is the most interesting to you? So I would really want maybe some of us, if we can write the career that we have chosen the career path, the most important, the most interesting to us, just put in the chat box. Maybe we'll use one of it as an example. The careers that you want to do or the career choice you've made. Hello guys, are we together? Put them on the chat box. I'm not seeing responses yet. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. All right. Fine. So why are you interested in that particular career? For example, okay, artificial intelligence expert. Thank you very much. Khalil, thank you. Now, if you're going to be asked, why are you so much interested in that particular career that you said you want to choose, artificial intelligence expert? People could give you reasons that maybe it could be that you've been seeing the way maybe you're influenced by a mentor, or maybe because you just have passion about AI because everybody talks about AI, or perhaps you have a personal reason. Now, whatever reason you choose, there's something I really want you to pay attention to. Can you be able to sustain yourself in that particular field? Okay, someone mentioned a business mogul and a lecturer. Beautiful. Thank you very much for that response. So what is your reason? These are the questions that we really need to be asking ourselves when it comes to capacity development and career development. Guys, just calm down. I'm taking you on a journey. Because once you choose a direction, the next step is a very, very serious one. Are you currently equipped for it? Is the questions that we are asking. And you really need to be very honest with yourself when you're asking these questions. So now that we have written down the top 3 career goals that we want, and then we have identified the ones that we are very, very much more interested in, I would want us to take a look at this job call. Now, this is a job posting for the role of a human resource manager. So if you can see my screen very well, you can see that I highlighted some areas. But just go through the screen and put down in the chat box the skills that you think is required for this particular job. As we are doing that, listen to me. Now, whether you meet people within the world of work or whether you meet mentors and all, there are times that people can passively, overlook things that matter to a particular or a specific career choice that we have made. For example, you may have a mentor who is within the human resource management department. They can tell you, oh, this is what is required. Oh, this is what is required. But how do you get to know exactly what is required within this field so that you can be well equipped for? Now, one secret that I want to tell you that they don't tell you is where you get to see this is on job calls. So, for example, you can take 5 different job calls for human resource management. And then instead in those particular job calls. It is in job calls that you are going to work to get the real skills, the in-demand skills needed for the position of human resource. So if you want to grow, for example, you want to grow into the role of a human resource person or manager, these are what you're going to be doing. Look for current job calls, identify all the skills in all the 5 different job calls, put them side by side. See what is required here, see what is required there in job 2, job 3, job 4, down to job 5. Highlight them, put them out. Now, there is something you're doing that a lot of people are not doing, and this is really what makes you different and what makes you smart in exploring your own career growth. Hello, guys, can we identify the skills? Now, you see, for example, they said we are seeking a detail-oriented and a reliable HR. Now, if you can interpret this one talks about attention to details. If you can see the second highlighted, this thing is what? Timeliness, time management. When it comes to what? To payroll processing. How many of us have the skills, the soft skills required for time management? Now, if you see some of the key responsibilities talking about record and timekeeping systems. And then we also have candidate sourcing. Have you ever screened for a talent before? If you have not, then how do you fit into this particular role? So these are some of the things that we have to start paying attention to. Now, if you have a mentor or someone within the human resource management, they may possibly not even mention, can you outsource or can you screen for talent for us? They are looking for people who can screen for talent. They may possibly not tell you, but because you have seen this in job calls and job calls out there, it is easy for you to be able to explore and put these things into practice and gain those experience beforehand. Now you want to grow into the area of human resource management. And then if you see down there, you could see that they need someone with strong numeracy skills, and someone with attention to details, confidential, all these skills. Now let's take a look at another job call. Guys, can you see my screen? Are you with me? Please put it in the chat box, yes, if you're with me. Okay, okay, perfect. Guys, something. Are you excited about this? Okay, thank you very much. Now, take for example, you're looking at data analyst role. First, this is the funny job, because when I was reading this, I was like, these people they just know what they are looking for. If you see the one I highlighted in red, they said this is not a just built dashboard rule. You'll be expected to find problems, propose fixes, and measure impact. They made it very categorical, excuse me, categorically clear in the first line here that this is not just a just built dashboard. Now we have a problem. Guys, a lot of people who go into monitoring and evaluation, for example, or data analyst role, they have this misunderstanding about, oh, I know how to build dashboard, oh, I know how to do this, and then they put it out there. Go to LinkedIn, you see a lot of funny posts by people. I've built this dashboard, I've done this. This is not exactly. Now, when you meet people, people say, oh God, do you know how to build dashboard? Do you know how to do basic analysis in Excel, for example? Do you know how to solve this problem and all that? They may not really tell you the things that are needed. But you see, when you go to job course, this is where you see the key secret. Now, they said, so for example, I don't just want to do this now. Guys, just take a look at the job course. What skills do you think are needed for the job course? Just write one of the skills you know is needed for the job course. I want us to do something. Just write them down. One of the skills you know that is needed for the job course that is obvious on the screen. Guys, are we together? So for example, you can see for these, they say they are looking for someone who can build SQL queries, right? And then for here, you can see they say track high velocity, low value transaction. These are some of the skills that they need someone with good tracking skills. Now, this is somewhere that's very important, right? Leakage control. Now, we need someone who can be able to reconcile transaction logs daily. So, for example, if the payment gateway is $5,000, we are seeing $4,950. You are the one who finds the missing $50. Now, what is this trying to talk about? They need someone with what? With problem-solving skills. So for example, when you meet somebody, it is very difficult for me as a person, for example, to say, oh, you really need to be a problem-solving person to be in MIE department, or maybe to work in a data analyst role, or, to work in a human resource role, or as a graphic designer, They are looking for people. It is very difficult for me to mention them, but you get to see this thing firsthand by yourself when you go to job calls online. And so, okay, we have PowerPoint presentation. And then you know that in today's world, it is almost impossible or very difficult to communicate or present your ideas or present your findings. In many organizations, now that a lot of things are done virtually, you need some of the skills. You need PowerPoint presentation skills. You need to know how to come up with slide presentations and all that. And you need to communicate findings. Communication is there. So even as a data analyst, you need communication skills, strong communication skills, because you cannot communicate your findings to. What about people that are in the non-technical field? How do you communicate whatsoever you are giving to them as a data? How do you communicate it to them? So having done all that, guys, this is what we call capacity gap analysis. Now, I am going to give you the second secret here. If you are excited about the secret, please write, I am excited. Let me see something. If you are excited about this particular capacity gap analysis, type it down in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now that we have the data analyst role, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Now that we have, I'm just giving out an example here. We have the data analyst, for example, we have the graphic designer, we have the human resource manager. Can you see the skills that I identified on the screen? Kabir, in the chat box, you made mention you wanted to be a lawyer, a lecturer. Maybe can you just unmute and tell me the skills that is required to be a lecturer? Unmute yourself, please, and talk.
Okay,
Kabir,
good
are you
morning.
there?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, morning. Yes, morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number one, I have to be public speaking clean,
Okay.
vividly. Time management.
Okay.
Classroom
Okay.
management skills.
Nice. Okay, so now these are like some of the soft skills that you need, right? What are some of the technical skills that you need to be a lecturer?
Technical
So
skills.
for example, we know that definitely you need a kind of a higher degree, right, to be a lecturer, and then maybe you need a kind of research skills, publication, and all that, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, for example, I just want to ask you, all the skills you mentioned, if you can be honest to yourself, mentioned.
Okay, for now, I won't say very efficient. I would say I'm getting head of school. I also teach, so I'm still in the process.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, Kapi. Now, guys, you see, this little conversation with Mr. Kabir is just to give us an insight of what is happening when it comes to career development, career growth, and capacity development. Now, on the screen, you could see that what I do is when I look at the job, I know that there are soft skills that are needed for that particular job, and then a career path, and there are also technical skills. Now you see in our conversation with Kabir, if you know how to communicate, explain your topic to students, use examples, you're very creative and all that, that is not enough. You need a higher degree to be, for example, you want to be a lecturer in the university. I think one of the minimum requirements now is a PhD. Before I know it's master's, but now they require a PhD, right? So you need to have skills because you're going to do what? Serious research, have good publication, contribute new knowledge. Now it teaches you about what? Creativity, problem solving, and all that for you to be able to fit into the system. Now, when you look at the screen, you see technical skills for data analysts, for example. Oh, you need the skills of Excel, you need the skill of SQL query language, and maybe perhaps data visualization tools like Tableau and Power BI, which is currently in high demand. You know, a lot of people back then used to be in Excel and all that, but now Power BI is coming more, and then more organizations are requiring these skills. And then you need a little bit of at least statistics and data analysis and then database management. These are some of the soft skills, not exhaustively. Now, if you're going to look at some other data analyst job course, for example, you may possibly see more skills and tools needed for what? For that particular role. You put them all together, just like I've put this one down. Look at that for the graphic designer. You see the UI UX design tools, Figma, which is more of a growing distant tool within the area of graphic design and all that. Do you have all the skills that it takes for you as a technical skills to fit in the role of a graphic designer? Be very honest with yourself. Then when you look at the area of human resource manager, the technical skills, do you know how to use the Bamboo software for hiring people? Do you know how to use Workday? Do you even have an idea what they are like? Have you ever participated in the recruitment or using applicant tracking system? Because these are some of the things that are used when people send application for jobs and all that, to track your application to see if you are qualified for those roles. Have you ever used the performance management tools? A lot of us may feel at the end of the day, some of these tools are sounding very somehow strange to us. But that is the truth. Some of these terminologies or some of these things may not be mentioned to you by some of your peers or mentors or whatsoever, but you get to see this thing firsthand. Nobody shows you. When you see them, you know. Just go to what job calls. I'm trying to show you how they do capacity gap analysis. Now, take a look at down where you see soft skills. Easily, you could see problem-solving skills is needed for a data analyst, right? Then when you come down to graphic design, you could easily see creativity. If you are creative, you may be able to what? You can be able to solve problems. And when you come here, as a human resource person, leadership is required. Now, when you have good leadership, you should be able to manage conflict, bring solutions to problems within the organization. These skills, the importance of these skills cannot be overemphasized. Now, when you see critical thinking here, you see creativity, they are all together. When you see attention to details, you see attention to details under graphic design as well, and you see empathy and emotional intelligence. Now, if you look at these things, can you be honest to yourself and say, oh, I have all these skills? Now we have, this is what is called capacity gap analysis. Oh, I know how to use Excel. I don't know how to use Python. I don't know how to use Power BI. And then I have critical thinking. I believe I have critical thinking because I've been able to think critically and solve problems. But do I really pay attention to details? Not really. Sometimes when they give me a task in the office, I just do those tasks, and then at the end of the day, my bosses tell me that, no, you're supposed to do it this other way around. We were trying to mention it the other day. What happened? Why didn't you get the whole? You are not paying attention to details. Right. Now, when you have identified all the skills in one place, now you can now what say, oh, I've been able to do a capacity gap analysis. How? Now, first, where is that, my friend, that say you wanted to be an artificial intelligence expert or professional? Are you there? Are you there with us?
Yes, sir.
Or Salamatu, you said you wanted to do, okay, thank you very much. Now, can you write down in the chat box and tell us, just write down in the chat box and tell us briefly the skills that is needed, or maybe you can just speak the skills that you need to be an expert in this particular area. Maybe you can unmute and speak if you want to. Are you there, my friend? Okay, all right. Okay, I can see Yakubu say he wants to do data analysis. Now, guys, now that you have identified all the skills, that is needed for the particular career choice that you have made. Don't forget that we first started by saying that, oh, you can identify 3 career goals. Now, put down all the skills that is needed for your first goal. And maybe you can name it goal 1. You can put it down somewhere, or if you have a piece of paper. Oh, again, don't worry. I also have I've created a capacity workbook for you. I'm going to share maybe at the end of the class or maybe later on in the day. So in that particular goal 1, write down all the skills. You know, there are times where you want to go into machine language, for example, and then hi, you started the journey, you're learning some of those skills and all that, and then at the end of the day, you realize, hi, Omo, I go fit. You know, you're asking yourself, this is not really the right path for me. Because at the end of the day, you're looking at yourself, you don't really, you feel discouraged. I don't know, maybe something must have discouraged you or whatever, and you would want to switch careers, because we have a lot of people who are switching careers at any point in time. Some people are into project management, they want to switch down to, you know, a different field entirely and all that. It happens a lot. Now, but in your goal 1, put down all the skills that is needed and required. And then in your goal 2, write down the skills needed for your chosen career path in your goal 2. Now, this is very important. Why? Because this is going to guide you in all the decisions that you are going to make. Now, when you have done that for your goal 1, goal 2, and then your goal 3, this is where we now do the real capacity gap analysis, guys. Let's be honest with ourselves. And now, you see, in our earlier conversation with Khalil, sorry, let me not murder your name. When you say you wanted to be a lecturer, I asked him a honest question. Can you say you are efficient in this? And then he responded and said, I can't say for now, but I'm in the process. Now, you can only be very honest to yourself and ask yourself, what can I already do well in the skills that I have been able to identify? As I'm picking, saying, okay, the data analyst, I know how to use Excel, I tick it. I know how to use Power BI, I tick it. I do not know how to use SQL or Python. I put it aside. What can I already do well? Please, you're going to write it down. It is very important. I am telling you now, this is something that people don't do. But if you do that, you may not always sit down to do that every time. When you sit down, take your time and do it and keep it on your vision board or anywhere you want to place it. This can be like a roadmap for you. Now you write all the skills that you currently have. In the next slide, these are now skills that you need to acquire. Now you're going to be honest to yourself and say, now ask yourself, skills do I need to ensure that I fit in that particular role that I want to go into? Now, someone said data analyst, someone said lecturer, someone said artificial intelligence expert, someone said machine learning, and all those things. Are you going to sit down, someone to come and just give you the job and fit into those roles? You now write down the skills that you don't have. Now, if a job, for example, requires 5 major skills, and you only have 2 more must be learned. So imagine you have 4 of these skills or 5 of these skills. Who is going to be picked and not even be picked? So this is how it feels. They are not looking for people. They are looking for skills. So if you're a person, you feel you know you have those skills, you are going to be looked for. You're going to be sorted for. Now, when you identify the skills that you don't have, that is a gap. But it is not a weakness. It is not a failure. It is clarity. Like I was trying to make an example earlier, I said, if you want to move from point A to point B, and then you're on your journey, you could not arrive at point B. What is that thing that's stopping you arrive at point B? You have been doing volunteering all your life. What has been hindering you for landing that particular job in that same role that you have been doing volunteering for over 2-3 years? What are the skills that you really need to acquire? Hello, sorry, I don't know. My network just cut off on the way. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah, I think my network just kicked me out. Please, where did you hear me last?
The gaps.
Hello, guys, where did you hear me last? Sorry, so I can continue from there. Hello, can you hear me? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Okay, confirm if you can see my screen now. I think the network is misbehaving already. Can you see my screen, please? So we continue. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mohammed. All right. Yeah, so like I was saying, for example, and I've given this example, where I say, for example, if five, okay, you can't see my screen?
No, sir, we can see your screen. It's okay.
Okay. Okay, all right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, yeah, where I was saying, for example, if you're applying a job to a particular job position, and then you have the skills required that you've been able to identify are 5, and then you have 2 of those skills. Now you've known that there are 3 more skills for you to learn. So the only thing for you to do is what is to go back to those skills that you don't have and begin learning them. The gap that you have identified does not mean, oh, I'm a failure, I don't fit into this job role, or maybe this is my weakness and all that. No, they are not your weakness. It is not a failure. It means that you have clarity. You have better understanding of what you're supposed to do next. That is what it means. And this is what is called capacity gap analysis. You've done an analysis of all that is required and you've known the gap that you have. Then what next are you to do? You're supposed to what? To build capacity. Now, let me tell you something. I'm going to be sharing a secret with you here. The third secret. If you're interested in this secret, write down I'm interested. Let me see something. If you really want me to share this secret with you, it's very important. You possibly have never heard it somewhere. Just write down I'm interested. Let me see. Thank you. Okay. Now you could see continuous learning. Number one. If you want to build capacity, thank you guys. Thank you guys. If you want to build capacity, your career will not build itself. You will have to build it yourself. How do you build capacity? Through continuous learning. You must what? Study the job market. Just like I showed you, pick on the job calls and identify the gaps, the skills that you need. The ones you have, the ones you don't have. And then intentionally grow into that role that you desire. Now, the third secret I'm going to be sharing with you is how to take courses and how to improve yourself through continuous learning for your capacity building. Please, if you have not really picked anything from the beginning, this is very, very important for you to pick. Now, when you identify a skill that you do not have, and then you're going to, oh, I need to take a course online, get the certificate, at least to show that I've been able to learn this to close the gap that I have. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you have identified a course, let's say, for example, you've identified a course on Salo Academy, you've identified a course on Coursera, for example, that talks about, I'm using more example about data analysis, but this can fit into any kind of role, whether graphic designing, whether machine learning, whether entrepreneurship, whether it's going to be business administration or whatsoever. All these, you can follow these same steps and processes, and you're going to arrive at where you want to. Now, when you identify a course that you want to take for certification, I repeat again, don't take that course yet, because a lot of those courses can just take you 1 hour, 30 minutes, some of them 3 hours, and then you're done with them. And then when you're done, you go to LinkedIn, you see some of those funny things that people do. Oh, I've taken this course, they share the certificate, and all that. And don't do that. I'm sharing a secret with you. Now, let's go into it. When you see a course that you have identified that even offers you free certification, the next thing for you to do is save the course or save the tab on your browser or anywhere. Go on YouTube. When you go on YouTube, type the course or type that particular skill or the course that you want to take. Watch the video, learn it. There are examples, practicalize it. For example, I want to learn about the Power BI, since I've known how to use Excel, for example, as a data analyst or a machine learning analyst or whatsoever, or machine learning engineer. So I need to learn about Power BI, So I just went, there are courses on Sailor Academy. I can just take introduction to Power BI, have my certification and say, oh, I have knowledge, I have certificate in Power BI and all that, and start applying for job. It is wrong. Don't do that. Go to that YouTube. There are a lot of resources for free for you on YouTube. When you watch those videos, you will learn them. For example, if you're talking about Power BI, there are videos that you're going to watch. They give you data sets there, example for you to practicalize alongside with them. So if a course that you're supposed to take for a certificate for, let's say, 2 hours, you end up watching video and practicing for 2 weeks. Now you see you're building serious capacity. When you are done taking that course for 2 weeks on YouTube, by learning and watching and practicing using those data set, those examples, those information that you're getting on YouTube, or maybe you can watch as much as 3, 4, 5 different YouTube on that particular topic or skill set, and then you've been able to practicalize alongside. When you're done, you can now come back and take this course and earn your certificate. That is the secret. Now, people don't tell you this, but there are resources on YouTube. It is not about gathering the certificate. A lot of people, where you go on LinkedIn, you see funny of those things, people just share, I've gotten the certificate, carry a data set or an information and say, oh, we have a problem in our organization. Can you help us solve this problem? That is where you're going to see how people are not able to solve problems. But you say you have this certification, you say you have this quality, you say you have this and that, but you cannot do basic work, you cannot solve basic problems. It becomes an issue. Tomorrow, if another job opening comes within that same organization, if you are applying, if they see your name, they may easily throw away your CV. So the secret here is not just to earn certification and fill your CV with 30 certifications to show like you're a professional and you really do not have those skills. That is not how to build capacity. And people have been building capacity like this, and it is entirely the wrong way. The next step is for you to invest in courses and earn certification. But I have told you how to do that. Hello, guys. Is this something you like? Have you learned something different? Can I see a yes or no? Have you learned something different? Hello, guys. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes, sir,
Aha.
we've learned
Okay.
a lot and a lot and a lot.
Thank you.
With the process, we're still learning.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, in the areas of mentorship, now, mentorship is very important when it comes to learning and capacity development. You can learn, but this way, there is indirect mentorship and there is direct mentorship. So whichever one may still work for you. There are people who are not really, how do I put it now? There are people who are not really good at, making direct contact and all that. But within the world of work, when you want to really excel, you really know how to network with people and engage with people. So, for example, when it comes to the area of mentorship, how do you build capacity? If you know people within your area that you can meet and request for mentorship from them, please go ahead and do that. There's a place where they said a closed mouth doesn't get fed. Meet them, talk to them. For people who can dedicate time and devote some time for you, good. That is good. For people who can't, they will tell you, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm really occupied, and all that." It is very, very okay for people to, and it is not a failure. You're doing something. You're making progress. You know what you want to do. You're building capacity. And if you meet some persons and they say, "Oh, I'm really, really not engaged," but can you meet this person? They can easily refer you. That is how we learn to work through mentorship. Now, when you meet someone within your field or the area that you are interested in exploring, they can teach you. Pay attention to those who have gone ahead of you, and then they can show you some areas where you can jump. A lot of mistakes that they've made before. You must not necessarily repeat that same mistake because you're growing into that same career path that they are already. They can say, if you do this, there's really going to be a big problem or a huge block on the way. So why not do it? This is the better way to do it. And then before you know, it makes your journey a bit easy. Now, indirect mentorship, you can look at people from afar. For example, I have someone whom I was picking mentorship from him indirectly from LinkedIn. He shares his work, and then his work is very practical. I've checked his portfolio, and he constantly updates his portfolio, his website, and all that with what he's currently doing, how he's doing it, how he's trying to solve problems. Now that we even have AI to help us, to support us, what do we do? For example, some of the things he does, and then I find it very interesting. I just go there. I can take screenshot of maybe the problem that he has analyzed, and then if I don't understand entirely, because he's a very busy person, I've tried to reach out to him but no response. I go to AI. What was this person trying to solve? And then to an extent, it gives you clarity and insight what this person is trying to solve. The next question is, how can I learn something like this, or how can I improve this system? Now you are beginning to ask yourself critical questions that are going to help you in your critical thinking, creativity, problem solving skills, and all that. So tomorrow when you are in an interview, for example, and they paint a scenario for you, and then they say, okay, if you are in this particular position, how will you do? You don't need to overthink yourself. It has already become part of you that you can just think and then come up with a solution because you have already been engaging yourself in critical thinking. Guys, are we together? Thank you very much. Now, this is another way of learning and capacity building. In another way, where I'm going to be mentioning this is professional networking or maybe professional platforms. So if you are having, I'm going to encourage a lot of us to join professional platforms. This is very, very important. Sometimes we feel, I can tell you for myself, right? For people who know me, I really am more of an introvert. I don't go out. I find it very difficult to just like mingle people, and all that. I find comfort within my own, space, little space. I like reading a lot, and I like playing video games and learning on my own and all that. I met someone who was mentoring me just a while ago, and then he told me, "See, I have been like you too, but ask help when you need it." I told him, "It is because, sir, you're opening up to me to tell me you have been like this. So it is very difficult for me to ask for help when I need help." So you see, this is someone who is far ahead of me, telling me that he has been like me. He doesn't really ask for help. You just want to figure a way out by yourself. You just want to, analyze the problem, try all different means and all different angles just to come up with that particular solution. But when you ask for help, it's easy. They can point to you and say, no, do it this way, do it this way. And then you just get to see that it's easy and you get your result. So guys, when you are networking or when you join a platform, whether be it online platform, or maybe you have a community where you guys meet physically or whatsoever, it helps a lot. And when someone has a project and say, oh, guys, we are working on recruiting so this in an organization, do you have a better way of trying to prepare for interview? You have a project that is coming and we are looking at designing graphics for so this thing, these are the kind of colors, these are the kind of tools we want to use. Do you have a better way? Please, guys, networking and joining professional platforms really helps a lot. It helps you in building capacity. Sometimes someone can post a project that they're working on. You can just be like, oh, can I volunteer? But people don't like volunteering these days. Because they'll say, so I cannot work for free and all that. But in a way, these are where we build capacity. Sometimes you go through all those things before you later would make living from what you've learned so far. So guys, these are areas where you can build capacity. So in essence, I've been able to take you through this particular journey. I don't know, maybe you guys have questions. Yeah, you can just start putting your questions down so that you can ask when I conclude. You identify skills that you need. You identify skills that you already have. That is capacity gap. After doing that analysis, the next thing for you to do is to learn how to close that gap. Learning how to close that gap is what I've just given you now. And this is basically what capacity building is all about. All right. So if you have questions, you can ask after the session. Now, we have the 4 core principles for success. Now, if you understand, in this entire session, it is not entirely about motivational speaking to encourage you, to ginger you, to give you motivation. This is not what we are doing. We are providing guide for you on how to succeed. It is not easy out there, we know, but what are you going to do? Are you just going to give up and go home, sit down on your bed, and then no? Now, for the principles for success, right? I would encourage you to adopt a learner's attitude. I just cited an example where I said it's very difficult for me to ask for help whenever I need help. It's very, very difficult. But I really want to learn. And I don't want to ask people to help me so that I'll learn under them. It doesn't work like that. Have a learner's attitude. Even if you are switching career, if you're in your final year, have a learner's attitude. It is really going to help you to succeed. Show sincerity of purpose. Show sincerity of purpose. This is very important. Like I said, if you notice how we began this session, I've told you, you have to be very honest to yourself. If you are not honest to yourself, you're going to lie to yourself. When you lie to yourself, you're going to have challenges that it may be difficult for you to come out from. Be very honest to yourself. This is you and you doing your thing, right? This is not somebody putting a map to say you must follow this, you must do this. Don't do that. Be honest to yourself. Now, show sincerity of purpose through diligence. Then understand your personality type. Now, you see that career test that we gave you is to help you to understand your personality type and the kind of journey that you're going into. Now, you're going to see those pictures. Oh, this is the kind of thing I like to do. This is my kind of personality. I don't like being, I don't like doing this. I don't like doing this. I like doing this and all. So it may not necessarily tell you, or the result may not necessarily tell you the exact kind of career path you should choose, but it speaks a lot to your kind of personality, the kind of things you like, and the kind of job you envision or career you envision to do may not be exactly aligning, but it is to give you clarity. The last one is for you to let go of.
Okay. Ni ban sai kayan sallan ba ma fari yau.
Idris Abu.
Allah. Ai ni kuma bana dinka kaya.
Hello guys, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, I like one of you said. He said livestock farming entrepreneur is my gap skills. So you see, you have identified something. You have identified a career path. Now the thing is, nobody is going to come teach you how to do all these things. What are the skills required for livestock farming? Come on, you can just go Google. I told you the secret. Look for job search, job calls out there, right? Look for job calls out there. Analyze, write down all the skills that are needed for livestock farming, for example, and look at how you can be able to start building capacity in those areas. Now, this particular area is, I believe, is looking for more practical skills, and then maybe a way you can engage with livestock farming, how that kind of experience. Have you done something like this before? Do you practice? Do you have a little farm that you manage, even maybe in the comfort of your home or somewhere like that? You can do some of these things, and they speak a lot to your experience. Tomorrow, if you're handling, if you're going to be giving maybe, let's say, livestock farm to manage, have you managed some before? What if, have you succeeded? What were the kind of challenges you experienced before? So tomorrow, if you're writing maybe a cover letter, you can say, oh, I've had this situation, this is what I've done, the action I've taken, this is the task And then this is the result I've been able to get using the STAR approach. Before you get to know, you're speaking something, you're speaking the language that the recruiter already understand, and he knows that you're already doing what they are doing. And it's easy for you to be scheduled for interview, and then you go and ace it. All right. So if you have questions, maybe you can ask. At this point, I would want to say thank you. So thank you guys. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Mr.
you're welcome.
Zaz. That was a very insightful session, sir. And I personally, I learned a lot from this session, and I could see the power of networking as well. So please, if you do have a question, please signify by raising your hand, or you can also ask your question in the chat box. If you do have a question, please signify or raise your hand, or you can also send a question in the chat box. Thank you. And for those of you requesting for the pre-test, I would believe that the reason why you missed the pre-test is because you came late to class. So you want to fill the pre-test after the session. So you want to tell us how you feel after you have learned the session. So I think you should all just look out for the post-test and make sure you don't miss that, because that is what will determine your that is what will be used as your attendance. So please, if you have a question for Mr. Hamzat, please signify.
Hey guys, you can write them on the chat box. You can just maybe unmute and ask your questions. I'm here to respond.
Or is it safe to say today's session was so like it was there's a way the teacher would explain in details and you cannot just find any fault or anything you didn't get. So probably it's good to say Mr. Zas explained it to this concept. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Zas. I could tell that people had a good time listening to you, sir. All right. Since there is no further question, I'll be posting the post test link in the chat box. And once I post it, please do well to fill it, because this will serve as your attendance. There won't be room for back and forth. So I'm unable to fill it. I didn't know you sent the test link and all. So please don't play with it. And thank you, Mr. Hamzat Manuel. Really appreciate this session we had with you. And we look forward to more engagement. We look forward to having you
I
again.
think someone has a question.
Okay, someone eventually have a question. Thank you. So
Sorry, I think someone has a question in the chat box.
Oh, I think we even have more than one now. So okay, let's start with Kyle. First question. The question is, sorry, how does one maintain consistency in learning and practicing for a career skill? How does one maintain consistency in learning and practicing for a career skill?
All right. Thank you very much, Khalid. So very importantly, all right. You see, we had, I think I said something similar to this earlier. Consistency can only be maintained when you already have clarity. So the essence of doing capacity gap analysis is to give you clarity. Oh, you already have this clarity. This is this is the journey ahead. This is just the journey ahead. So you can maintain consistency through discipline, because you know at the end of the day what you want to do. You've given yourself a target. Let's see, I asked the question earlier in the slide, is there where I said, ask yourself a honest question. Where do you see yourself in few years to come? So if your target is, let's say in 5 years, I would really want to be in this particular position, this job course that I'm seeing in 5 years, this is where I want to be. Then all you need to do is personal work discipline to be able to maintain. Since you already have the clarity, focus on those skills and build them. I think this is just a simple way I can respond to that. I hope that makes sense to you, Khalid.
Thank you very much, sir. So let's take the second question, sir. The second question is from Aisha to Mohammed. And she's asking, how can mentorship and training programs support people with career gaps? And how can mentorship and training programs support people with career gaps?
All right, thank you very much. Sorry, I don't know where this noise is coming from. All right, but you can hear me.
Oh, it's coming from Aisha to the one asking the question, sir.
Okay, no, I'm talking about the noise from the background, but it's okay. So
Please
you
mute
can
that person, Ajibola.
all right. So to respond to your question, Aisha, thank you. It's a very sensitive one. So how can mentorship and training programs support people with career gaps? For example, this is a mentorship and a training program, right? Where it's supposed to support you in building career and building capacity and all that. This is how we support you, where you come up to trainings like this, and then you're open to opportunities and to maybe new knowledge that you've not had before, or maybe you've had those knowledge passively and you've not practiced them before. So in mentorship, maybe either direct or indirect mentorship, like I've mentioned earlier, they can say, you don't know this thing, you don't know this thing. Can you learn this? Can you learn this? They can also help in building capacity. If we're talking about training programs like this, you can network with people. For example, some of the participants mentioned some of their career interests and what they want to do. You could easily network with them. One of them can tell you that I have this is what I've been doing so far. And then you can later realize that, oh, I've not been doing something like this. In fact, I don't even have a knowledge on something like this. This is networking. I spoke about networking and also joining a professional platform. They can help. So in trainings like this and in mentorship programs like this, they open your eyes, they give you the opportunity to network, leverage network, and then share knowledge that you possibly did not have before. Yeah, I hope that makes sense to you, Aisha.
All right, thank you, sir. We still have one question. So let me ask the question. Is it okay to pursue different careers? This is coming from Kabir Jubril. Is it okay to pursue different careers? Certainly, we can have multiple careers.
Yeah, so okay, to respond to that question now, that is kind of tricky, right? When you say, is it okay to pursue different careers? The question would be, is the career that you're talking about like a major career and then a side hustle? It's okay to have a side hustle, but if you're talking about pursuing two different careers entirely, for example, I'm pursuing a career in, let's say, monitoring and evaluation and data analysis. And I'm also trying to pursue a career. I told you my background, right? My background is religious studies. And then I'm doing maybe I want to pursue a lecturing career in religious studies. And then I want to engage in masters. I already have masters, so I want to do a PhD in religious studies. These are two different career paths. So how possible? It is not possible, my brother, right? Because these are entirely two different careers. One requires, in fact, they all require attention. for data analysis, for example, you really require attention, a lot of statistics, mathematics, formulas, and a lot of things. You understand? So putting it down with another career, for example, me doing a PhD in a religious study is not feasible. But I can be in my MIE position and have another side hustle where it does not require a lot of energy and investment. That is very fine. Or maybe it gives you a lot of time and all that. So what you mean by different careers at the time, like having a side hustle, yes, why not? But if you mean full-time career at a different time, it is just like you're chasing both things, and then at the end of the day, you may end up not catching any of them because you may end up not being a professional in any of them. And recruiters are looking for people who have very good and exceptional skills in those areas. So imagine you're trying to chase a career, and then you're applying for roles that someone have left everything of their life to focus only on that particular career. Who do you think the recruiter is going to pick more? So I hope that answers your question.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much, sir. So we have another question from Yakub Abdullah Musa. What practical steps can graduates take to continuously build their capacity and relevance in a fast-changing job market?
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
maybe
thank
you
you.
get that, sir.
Excellent question. Yeah, I got the questions. Yeah, I got the question. What practical steps can graduate take, right, to continuously build capacity and remain relevant in the fast-changing job market? So very important. Graduate, one thing is we always assume that it is after school that we start polishing our CVs before, to apply for jobs and all that and take up some roles and all. It is sometimes it's like we waste those kind of times that we have. So for graduates to continuously build capacity and remain relevant, first thing you need to do is, like I said, you conduct the capacity gap analysis. That is how you remain relevant. Because when people are trooping into a particular job market, right, there are always requirements and there are updates in those new the job roles or career paths that maybe some people are not yet open to. How do you get to see them early? First, it is for you to do your analysis. How do you do analysis? I shared that earlier. You look for job costs. Pick 5 or 10 different jobs in that particular same position. You're going to see the trend. And when you spot the trend, you are already ahead of your peers that do not know how to do this analysis. You already know, then you know what to pick and what not to pick, and put them into practice and start building on them gradually. That is how you remain relevant. So that, for example, now let's say, sorry that I've been using more on data analysis, right? For example, the fast changing and fast adopted tool used within the areas of data analysis are Power BI, for example. People are very more efficient with Excel, Google Sheets, and all that. Power BI, Tableau, these are the current. So if you imagine you have a very sound knowledge in SQL or Power BI, you are far ahead and more relevant in the job market compared to your peers. So for me, I would just encourage you to first thing first, do your capacity gap analysis, understand the gap that you have, and then start building on them. That is how you can remain very, very more relevant, even for people who are already on the field. You can compete with them because you have knowledge that they do not have if you're applying for a role that demands those kind of skills that you are already ahead of them. I hope that makes sense to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We do still have many questions, and I don't know why these questions are now coming in. So we have another question
No
from
problem.
Sandra.
I'm here, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So we have a question from Sandra. She's asking if someone already has experience or a current capacity in another field, but wants to switch careers to pursue a different path, how can they overcome the feeling of having wasted time and the fear of not excelling in the new field?
Oh, excellent question. Thank you. So, Sandra, right? You maybe start looking at it from this angle. You have not really wasted time, right? Now, there are ways where I was in a, I think was it last week Sunday or so, I was in a conference where people were talking about product management and all that. And similar question came on board where someone was asking, I've been in a different role and I want to switch to product management. And then I feel like I've wasted my time. In fact, I've built my LinkedIn showcasing these particular skills and all and all. Do I go back to delete all those things because I build networks, people know me that I've been doing this. I want to switch. And then it feels like I've wasted a lot of time. And then how do I adapt? No, you don't do that. Now, one thing you really need to understand is any skills you are learning should be part of you. It shouldn't be you're learning it because of the job, that particular job. Please speak this from me. Any skills you're learning, you can translate it to anywhere. I told you I study religious study. It is far from using numbers, using data and all that. How did that help me? Now, in my area, it requires someone who pays attention to details. You know how to do analysis. At least if you want to publish an academic paper that's required, it requires a lot of analysis, and all that. That is just for you to prove to the recruiter that I can be able to do this. Now, an example was given very clearly. Maybe this can help solve your situation. A lady was applied for. She had never had any sales distinct experience before, and then this company were looking for someone with sales experience. There is a way she just polished her CV to show, painted the story in her cover letter to show how she had supported and done and did sales before, and all that and all that. Not like she lied, but she well polished her CV and the cover letter. Now, when she was scheduled for that interview, that was where she sold the story. She explained how she supported her mother, in all these normal house stuff, selling of small provisions and stuff like that in the house and all that, not like a company sales. And they need someone with experience in a company sales and all that. But the way she sold her story to them, she convinced them beyond that she's capable. She has been able to solve this problem. This was when they had issue with a customer like that. Now, in that particular scenario, she was able to sell herself and then she got into the field. So, to summarize my response to your question is, you have not really wasted any time. Whatever skills you have learned can still be relevant. It depends on how you tweak it and polish it to fit that particular role that you want to change into. Yeah, I hope that helps. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we have another question from Khadija Suleiman. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody's question. And Khadija Suleiman's question is, how does capacity gap analysis contribute to better decision making and resource allocation in organizations?
Okay, so if I get your question very well, Khadija, this is like based on in an organizational setting, right? So capacity gap analysis for an organizational setting is very important. For example, maybe if an organization understands that there's a current trend and then they need some kind of skills within that particular organization, of course, and then they've already identified the gaps, right? They could say, okay, fine, so persons that are within this thing, they can, that's why we have people sponsoring people within an organization to go take a course or go for a particular conference to learn a particular thing or skills and all that to support them in their organization. So if that is the question, I think this is how organization can contribute to better decision making by maybe possibly pushing people to go into those courses and capacity development and all that. It helps, but in a way where it is you within the organization that you've conducted your own personal capacity gap analysis, and then you're thinking of how to contribute to better decision making, is when you show that you can be able to solve some problems within the organization. It can be your thinking pattern has a bit changed, and then if you're making contributions to the organization, and then they are seeing, oh, perhaps what she's saying is even better. Let's something like that. It really helps organization to because they know that you have not like the normal suggestions or opinions that other people are bringing to the organization and all that. So it can support the company where, or maybe the organization where the head may say, oh, please, what do you think about this particular thing? And then they want to take decision. It is because you already know your gap, you've closed your gap, and then you're supporting the company in coming up with better ideas for decision making. Yeah, I hope that helps.
Thank you very much,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Thank you very much.
So, so we have the final question from Uda Bijimi. So
Hello,
Uda
are we
Bijimi
together?
is,
Okay.
yes, I think, we still have another one. But let's take this, sir. Let's take the one of Bijimi. And my question is, I have a strong interest in entrepreneurship, psychology, particularly working with people struggling with drug addiction, and also international diplomacy and global affairs. I sometimes feel conflicted about choosing one path. From your experience, is it possible to build a career that integrates these areas? And what practical steps would you advise someone like me to take? Did you get
Okay,
that, sir?
yeah, sorry, the network was weak. I didn't get that, but I'm looking at the question myself so I can just get
Okay.
it clearly. Your
Oh,
network was
okay.
speaking. Yeah.
Yes.
So my question is, I have a strong interest in entrepreneurship, psychology, particularly working with people struggling with drug addiction, and also international diplomacy and global affairs. I sometimes feel conflicted about choosing one path. From your experience, is it possible to build a career that integrates these areas? And what practical step would you advise someone like me to take? Um, please, for me, if I'm going to suggest to you, Jimmy, please, I have a mentor, right? Let me start this way. I have a mentor who knew that I was a bit confused at some point in my time. Um, he told me something. He said, "See, look, Nzas, I know how to do a lot of things. And that is one thing that a lot of us young people always get stuck with. We feel like we have the ability, we can do many things, you know. But the simple truth is, when we look, maybe in 5 years' time, when we look back, we will see that we have really wasted a lot of time. So my only advice for you is to really sit down, go through the whole studies that we have just done today. Maybe if you still want the slide, maybe I can share the slide with the team, and you can get it. Um, understand your purpose for picking each of those. We said earlier, identify 3 career goals that you would want. I know why I said that. Now we said that because it is very difficult for people to say, it's just one thing that I've been growing up with from primary school to secondary that I've decided, and then till today I'm doing it. A lot of us, some of us wanted to be in the sciences, and where we ended up in the commercial or the art class and all that, right? So it happens. That is why we first said identify the 3 career goals that you want to pick. Now in those 3, for example, which one would you rank first? So in all that you have mentioned, Bijimi, please put them in a place of priority. Which one will you rank number 1? Which one will you rank number 2? which one will you rank number 3? Now, if you can be able to do that, you now have clarity that number 1 and number 2 are very more important to me than number 3. You can now take number 3 out of the equation. Do you understand? To help you from those, because at the end of the day, you need a lot of skills to be an expert in a particular field. So you really need to have a focus. So that would be my very simple, honest truth to you. You take your time by yourself, rank all that you have highlighted you want to do, pick number 1, pick number 2. From there, you can now say, okay, since it is number 1, I've been able to identify number 1, and I know that this is my number 1. Focus on it and build capacity in that area. Then later on, when you're good, you are very proficient in what you know you can do, you can deliver in that particular. Later, you can have another learning to do. Learning doesn't end. You understand? So I really hope this gives you more clarity, but please sit down by yourself and think more through this. Thank you. I think someone is raising their hand. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Have you
you.
been hearing me all the while?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much, sir. I think it's better qualitative
So I
from
think
here,
we
sir.
still have more questions, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We have a question from Matthew.
Hello.
Kili.
Hello.
And someone
I do
is
have.
raising their hand, so
All
I
right,
don't
so
know how
please
long
Yes,
that.
it's me.
Natla.
It's me, Nathan. It's me, Nathan.
There is
Okay.
no
Please,
one.
can I go ahead? I said it's me, Nathan.
Please go
Please,
ahead
can I go
with it.
ahead? Okay, so based on what you just said, I have a similar situation. So I work as an IT officer, but at the end of the day, the work being given to me in my office ends up makes me do things in the light of a digital experience officer that's working with social media, website development, and graphic design. Now, my attention has now been skewed to that side because I have to keep my bed because that's what is feeding me on my 9 to 5. What I then do, if this happens, it's making me have multiple um, things to learn in addition to the main thing that I was being hired for. What do I do then?
Sorry, Nate, I don't know. I think in a way I couldn't really get you, but are you
Okay, let
okay
me
if I
come
get you
again.
where you say you study IRS, right?
No, I said my main job is IT, information technology. Did you get that? That's my role, IT. I work as an IT
Hello,
officer.
I can't really hear you, please.
Please, can you hear me
Hello,
now?
can anyone hear him?
All right, let's do this way, Natla. Make use of the chat box. If you can do
Okay.
that, so we
Okay.
can just get your
Okay,
points.
thank you.
All right. So while we wait for Natla question, maybe we can take this now, sir. So the question is, what role does risk taking play in entrepreneurship? Is it always necessary? And another question is, how can technology help entrepreneurs? How can technology help entrepreneurs grow their businesses? Then the last is, what are the biggest challenges entrepreneurs face when starting a new business, and how can they overcome it? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for this question, Nephew. So the thing is, I would not really want to claim expert when it comes to the area of entrepreneurship. So whatever I'm going to say, it's just my opinion and a little guidance. Maybe it can give you a bit of clarity, right? That is why the essence of this session is to have us understand the kind of network we need to start building. You get so if you are very much in the interested in the area of entrepreneurship, then you already have clarity where you're supposed to build more network, right? So, but for your first question, the role of risk taking play, what role does risk taking play in entrepreneurship? Is it always necessary? It is very necessary, my brother, right? Now, we take risks in almost every areas of our life. People who don't really take risks may not really know what is there for them. So I think it is necessary. So I can just maybe just give you a very small example, but it may not entirely be related to entrepreneurship. So in a way, I would feel that to get this sounds more like a professional advice you need in specific area of entrepreneurship. So maybe you can find more better response for someone who's within the area of entrepreneurship, right? Then secondly, how can technology help entrepreneurs grow their business? We have a lot of ways, right? For example, people have utilized AI, right, to see how they can support in in coming up with content, right, to show their work out there, and then it can boost visibility and then get more markets, more customers for them, and all that. It depends on what kind of entrepreneurial work you're doing as well. But I believe there are many ways technology helps people, right, to make their business grow. So maybe these are more specific professional areas that you can ask maybe people within that network to support you more. Then what are the biggest challenges entrepreneurs face when starting a new business? We know, I can just tell you from the scratch, but I think you will need more in-depth knowledge on that. Some of the challenges we know are, uncertainty, the fear of uncertainty. You're not so sure if this business is going to thrive. You're not so sure of the location of that particular business. You're not so sure of the market competition for that particular entrepreneurial this thing you're going into. So sometimes that is why conducting serious research and doing analysis of how the market is, like the population there, your target audience or customers and all that, is really, really important when it comes to starting up new businesses. So many business fail not because the ideas are not strong, but because maybe strong research and analysis are not done. You get? So these are some things that you really need to sit with and then get counsel, get knowledge from people who are already into those particular business. They can really help you to overcome some mistakes that they've done before. So for example, if you want to produce Zobo and you're selling, and then you're living in a place that maybe it's just barely only students that are occupying that particular place, you know that your business is going to be more seasonal. When students go on break, you don't see your market doesn't sell. When students are now on session, your market sells and all that, right? So now that means that you already understand. So when students are going on break, what do you intend to do to keep yourself running and all that? So these are just like simple sample things that you can start thinking, and possibly just talk to people within the areas of that same business that you want to do within the areas of entrepreneur. I think it can really help you a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nzas. And we have just few minutes to the end of this session. And I think we can still, okay, Natla have eventually said this question. So he said, how can I balance my role as an IT officer with the new responsibility assigned to me as a digital experience officer, considering they are kind of different career paths? So he's asking how can he balance the two roles he's occupying right now, especially they are looking different as a career path.
Okay, Nadla, I think this is quite an interesting question, right? So based on your question, I'm going to assume that this is like within the same organization. So in your workplace, you are the IT officer, but they assigned a new responsibility to you as digital experience officer. So while it sounds like it seems there are, yes, of course, different career paths. I think there are areas where where they can still be overlapping when it comes to the area of the digital whatsoever, and then the IT, your IT experience. So in your IT experience, you use of course use some tools that are related to IT, being an IT officer. So perhaps, of course, there are organizations who give you funny responsibilities and all because you're there, and then they may not want to hire, an extra staff. They feel with your knowledge of IT, you can be able to do to deliver on digital experience officer. The thing is, you can do your best, but you cannot really. If, for example, you can have time, right, to come up with to maybe come up with an analysis on digital experience officer, for example. Check out the skills that are required for this digital experience. What are the expectations? Maybe you can search for job course for digital experience officer, right? If you have the time. You may focus more on building your capacity as an IT officer because, of course, you have an aim and you have a purpose. And the organization is going to slow you down very well. I would only suggest that you know what you plan your time strategically, manage your time, take few courses in the area of digital experience, offer what you can be able to offer while building more capacity in the role that you see is best fit into you, which is the IT officer. So I think this is just how you can help, because at the end of the day, my brother, I like to be very honest. You still need the job, right? Because it pays you, and then it sorts out your bills and all that. You still need the job. You don't want to leave because they gave you another responsibility. And if you don't do deliver to an extent, they may that kind of it's a bit tricky, but just work towards it. But don't forget your focus. Please have a focus in mind, right, for what you want to do, and build more capacity in that area. So tomorrow, if you're leaving, you know that you are very qualified to explore other organizations. Yeah. Hope that helps. Thank you.
All right, so we have finally come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much, Mr. Nzas Manuel. Today was indeed an insightful session. Questions were being answered, and I could tell that the expectation of the participants were well met and even far beyond what some of them must have expected. Thank you so much for providing clarity on many parts. So we look forward to many more opportunities to have you inspire individuals like this, and we believe anytime we reach out to you, always willing to help us out. Thank you so much, Mr. Nzas.
All right. Thank you so much to I'm really grateful to have at least shared the little bit of what I know, and I hope that we'll continue our engagement even after here. Thank you, guys, and I really wish all of us a good day ahead, right?
And it's also important to note that this this is possible as a result of our partnership with Tesala. So thank you to the team of Tesala for this great moment. So this marks the end of our today's session. Please take your post test. Your post test will serve as your attendance. So please take your post test, and please, the back and forth on attendance is not good. There is no other means, there is no other option, there is no other way of ensuring attendance than to make sure you fill the post test. Since like, okay, can I fill it after the program? No, we won't do that. It can only be done while the program is on with you taking, and please stop sharing your screenshots on the group. There's no point sharing your screenshot. Just make sure I'll fill the form, and from there we'll be able to get your name. Thank you so much. I believe Mr. Faisal have been communicating with you as regard your capstone project, and I could see that perhaps some people are already submitting their project proposal. So well done. And if there's any other question, you can always reach out to Mr. Muhammad Faisal. He's the focal person, so we'll be providing you further information as regard your capstone project. Thank you so much. We're always available to listen to you. Perhaps you need us to provide any detail. we are working on making sure you have access to all these recordings, all these class recordings through the Cohort 2 platform. And I believe once we have everything ready, we'll be able to make it available for you all. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the day. Thank you.